Welcome to The Experience, live with Russ and Scott. Join us every Wednesday at 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. Learn more about the Experience community at our website, local.theexperience.video, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. The Experience is brought to you each week by these great sponsors. The Aspects of Aging weekly talk show with Christine A. Smith. Unscripted conversations with experts. Watch live or in replay at agingbetternetwork.com. The Gillette Home Team. Their mission is to deliver the key to home ownership through stellar customer service, integrity, and joy. Learn more at teamgillette.com. Family Building Blocks, keeping children safe and families together. Visit their website, familybuildingblocks.org. Duo Water Systems, custom water pump solutions, water treatment, and filtration solutions designed to keep local homes and families safe with clean, reliable water. More information on their website, duowatersystems.com. And now let's get on with the show.
Hey, good morning, everybody. We're really here. We're hiding behind. There we go. Hello. Good morning and welcome to The Experience Live with Russ and Scott. And today it's just live with Russ. So excited for Scott, celebration, his Waco experience in Texas today, year celebration. And so thankful for him and going to miss him this morning. But we're here this morning, and I have an amazing, amazing guest, Mr. Curtis Rivers, that's going to be on with us shortly. I'm telling you, he is an amazing individual and quickly becoming a good friend. He was on Marketing with Russ once already with me. We've had a couple great chats and was formerly a stuntman and now doing coaching, and I'll let him tell you all about that. But it's going to be exciting. So I want you to know, get ready, buckle up. And today's going to be an amazing show. What you want to do right off the bat is you want to share this out with everybody. Let them know and tag your friends and tell them The Experience Live with Russ and Scott has started. So you don't want to miss it. So make sure and get that out there. Curtis will be in just a moment. I'm giving you a little head start. So start telling people, tag them and let them know that we're on, because people, hey, it's midweek, it's Wednesday, and people are thinking, made it through half the week. Well, you know what? There's exciting things ahead. I'm one of those guys that loves every day of the week. I love Mondays. I love Wednesdays. And so today, I want you to know that there's great stuff ahead. So look for that. And The Experience Live with Russ and Scott, just as a reminder, is here every Wednesday at 7 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time or 9 a.m. Texas Standard Time for those of you in the Texas state. And so anyway, we are here for you. And this goes live at 7 a.m. But guess what? There's more. It goes live on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. But after that, it sits on LinkedIn and YouTube forever and Facebook for 30 days. So you go back and you can watch it whenever you want. And you can still share, and you can still connect with Curtis, and you can still connect with me and Scott, and you can still connect with each other in the comments. There's so many amazing ways to find amazing connections today. So do that. And so just make sure you engage, though. Make sure you say hi and let us know you're here. Really, really appreciate that. Okay, then guess what? After that, there's still more. If you don't have time to listen to it, you can or watch it. You can listen to us on Spotify. So as you're driving around, as you're putting your makeup on, as you're jogging, as you're getting ready for work, whatever you're doing, you can listen on Spotify. And there's so many people that love to listen to audio podcasts. So love to have you there. Please make sure and share and like and engage and comment no matter where you're watching or listening. And we'd really, really appreciate that. So, all right. Also got other amazing things coming up. So behind me is my book, Befuddled, Live the Life You Choose. First book that I wrote, and to really help you live a life full of purpose and perspective, a life with a good mindset, a life of just great abundance. But there was more. I did 4 anthologies in between that, which were amazing. Number 1 on Amazon, number 1 international bestsellers. So thankful for the friends that I did those with. But now comes my next solo book, and it is, ta-da, Life Happens and Then You Choose. That's it. Life Happens and Then You Choose is coming out November 3rd. November 3rd. Life Happens and Then You Choose. You know what? Every day around us, life is happening. And then we get to choose where we go from there. Well, yesterday, I got amazing, amazing news. Went to my oncologist and found out that they told me there's no sign of disease. My latest PET scans, MRI, there's no sign of cancer on those. And so just thanking God and blessed today and thankful and grateful for life. And so celebrate with me today. I love that. Celebrate and just thankful for life and all that you have. You know what? You need to be thankful for what you have. Life is happening to you, but you get to choose. So look for that book on November 3rd. There's going to be some great live streams on Monday, November 3rd at 8 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time and at 4 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, both the Marketing with Russ and Russ Reels Live. So look for those and super excited about that. Also, again, just really thankful and celebrating with Scott today on the Waco Experience, his radio show there that has been so fantastic. And so thankful for all that he's getting to do and celebrating that today. And that is so good. Celebrate the wins in your life. Celebrate the wins in your life. I'm telling you, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. All right. So before we bring Curtis in, just want to remind you that before the show, we always have the Experience Backstage live with Russ Scott and Shri, which is on Instagram only at 6:30 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time or 8:30 Texas Standard Time. And then we come over here to the Experience Live with Russ and Scott at 7 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. So we're covering the whole gamut for you. And so love to see you on any of those shows. And with that, I think we're going to get going. You know, the experience of life is so diverse. There's so many amazing people like my friend, Mr. Curtis Rivers. Let's get him in and get this show started. Morning, Curtis.
Hello there, Russ. I was going to say, how are you? But you've just given it away there. That's amazing. The results, all clean and clear. So that's fantastic news.
Oh, amazing. Amazing. You know, God still does miracles. So thankful, so blessed. And you know what? It is something that we all have to look forward to every day. And that is the good things that are happening in our lives, right? Not just the things that are going to happen or the things that have happened, but we need to be thankful every day and celebrate those wins, right? Because we have them. So, and I know you're that way. So we're going to start off for the experience community that hasn't maybe seen you yet. Who in the world is Curtis Rivers and what are you up to? Give us a little background.
Okay. Well, so who is Curtis Rivers? You asked. I'm a former stuntman, Hollywood movie stuntman. Had some success in that arena, broke Guinness World Records, won movie awards, was honored into the Hollywood Stuntman's Hall of Fame, despite being English. It's quite rare. But I had a bit of an awakening. I found myself trapped in an environment that no longer resonated with me, but it paid really, really well. So what to do? You know, keep selling my soul to earn the big bucks in a very unhappy place, or follow my heart and take a gamble and realign and live more authentically and drop all the masks and honor myself, you know? So that's what I did. I've left all of that behind for the most part. I still pop in occasionally to help out some friends, actors, directors, but very, very occasionally, and only on really good, pure jobs that resonate, usually comedies, things that make people laugh, you know? So for the most part, I've left that behind. And I help people in the same situation that I was in, those feeling lost, you know, feeling isolated. Sometimes they've done okay in life, but they find no gold at the end of the rainbow. They're thinking, well, there must be more to life than this. I finally arrived and it's left me in a place of lack and limitation. Yeah, because they're no longer following their heart or they've lost their way, really. And so I help people to reimagine a life more in alignment, reimagine, realign, and reignite their life to one of purpose. And so they enjoy pure freedom at the end of the day.
Yeah, you know, I think that is just so key what you just said there. And that has kind of lost the joy in life and lost really what they should be focusing on, their God-given purpose in life, really. And I think that's what you recognize, even though you're in an industry that you've done for years, you love that and all of that, but just becoming something that's really not you, not where you want to be. And I think people need somebody like you, Curtis, and somebody that's actually been through that and now helping others to go. So talk about that a little bit. And then I want to get back and ask you a couple quick questions about movies. But first thing I want to talk about, I think what's most important, and that is how do you really transfer that over to somebody that you've been through this and had to recognize you weren't where you wanted to be, and you can help them do the same?
Sure. I mean, everybody's slightly different. So obviously there's nuances. People are at different stages of that awakening to that there must be a better life. Some are still very much in a place of fear. And I'm a bit of an expert in fear, having done 3 decades as a Hollywood stuntman, obviously. So fear in it, all its guises, I help people and hold their hands through that kind of process of realizing what fear is, that aspects of fear can be our friend and really useful, and we can utilize that. But so much of it is just an illusion, and it's self-limiting belief. So we explore that, and we pick a way to just release them from a lot of false beliefs and old stories that they're still playing, And one of the fundamental things that comes up time and time again across the board is that this epiphany, this realization that actually you can change, you're in charge, you're not a passenger in life. They've often arrived at that part of life doing the job in and out, and it's become a regular job or a regular career. It pays the bills. The light's gone out a little bit in it, but they think that's all there is. Either it's too late, or they spent too much money in that career, too many years, too late to change now. But they've become a passenger, like a cork bobbing on the ocean, just going with the tides. And I'm there to hold a mirror up, really, and saying, no, it's not like that. You're adrift in a boat, and you can pick an oar up and start to steer it. You can go against the tide and pick up a different current and head to that island over there, to paradise, to feel your toes on that white sand. You're completely in control. And that's an early decision my clients make, is not only the realization that they are in control, and of course they can make a difference, they can change direction, but also it's never too late, which is one of the key realizations. I mean, I work predominantly with people kind of middle-aged, but they can be in their early 30s and they can be late 50s or above. It's never too late to change direction. So the first thing is to show them that very fact. They're in control of their own destiny. Their thoughts, they can control their thoughts, get a handle on that to affect their feelings, and therefore take aligned action and start to tune in to that intuition and to follow that alignment that leads them to their true purpose.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, you said so many things there that I wanted to tap into. Number one, a lot of what holds us back from making changes and doing things is fear. People have a fear of change itself. And a lot of times people do think, yes, it's too late. It's beyond me now. I can't really do anything. And these are things that we really need to overcome, because you get in habits and patterns. And you know what? Habits and patterns can be good in life if they're good. And habits and patterns can be destructive if they're going the wrong direction. And something you need to realize, just like you're saying, I think that is so good. What you're saying is that people can realize it's never too late to make a positive change. As I would say, life happens and then you choose. Life is happening all around you. If it is your own patterns and constructs that's happening, you still get to choose where you go, and you can still make a change if you need to. And I think these things are important to know, because there are so many things, people I know, that are missing out on their joy in life and their real passion, because they just feel like you said, it's too late and they can't do it. And so give me a little bit more information on that. When people are really, really stuck. Yeah, Curtis, you don't know me though. You don't know me. You don't know how, the things that I've done, where I'm at. I just need to stay put. If it isn't broke, don't fix it, right?
Yeah, I hear that all the time. And, like it's a unique situation, that they're unique to anybody else. And of course, we've all been there. We're all on the same journey. We're just at different parts of that journey. And those of us further ahead, usually, if we're heart-centered beings, then we just want to help people. Just naturally want to turn around and help people to catch up. And if we've stumbled over a boulder, we want to jog back and just be careful of that boulder there. Be careful of this pitfall. I fell into that for a while. It took me ages to get out. I wouldn't want you to go through that. So, offer them a hand, help them out so they avoid that on the path. And so it's that kind of thing of, I have been there. And so many of my other clients have been there, and I've seen massive transformation. So it is doable. And a common thing I hear is the belief that life isn't meant to be a merry-go-round, some continuous fun. Jobs aren't meant to be exciting. They're meant to pay the bills. Nobody wants to get out of bed on a morning. They want to go back to sleep and hit snooze. Nobody wants to leap. And I'm there to smile and be patient and listen and then say, well, I, for one, don't feel like that. I can't wait to seize the day. My life's amazing. And I don't say it to gloat. I've had some real challenges. I really have. But as you know, and like yourself, huge challenges, but they shape you, and they're there to learn from, and they make you expand and grow if you see them for what they are. Here's a challenge. What's this trying to teach me? Am I veering off course here? And you get that, okay, and you almost smile. I was drifting off there. This is to correct me. This is a reminder, or this is the kick up the backside that I need to stop procrastinating and take action, in its various ways it materializes. So yeah, there's so many people who have that limiting belief, and that's in itself an aha moment when you explain to somebody that is just yet another story. Just because you're saying it doesn't make it real. The fact that everybody doesn't like to go to work, only a tiny 0.1% are happy in their work. No, lots of people do something they really love, a God-given talent, whether they're born to draw or paint or teach, or there's like a myriad of skills and disciplines. And when they do their God-given talents and enjoy doing it and get paid for that, then every day is a joy. There is a way, and it's way more common than you think.
Yeah. Yeah, no, oh my goodness, it's so true. I mean, you can actually do what you love, and you can actually get paid for it. You just have to take action and not sit back. Like you said, you got to make things happen and move forward. Hey, I just want to remind everybody this morning, we're here with my friend Curtis Rivers, and such a great conversation we're already having here this morning. Make sure and share this out, tag your friends, let them know we're on this morning. But don't forget, this also, if you're watching on replay, please put hashtag Team Replay, because so many people watch on replay. So thankful for that. I just want to remind you all this morning that if you want more information on the experience, I didn't tell you before, the experience.video is the place to go. The experience.video. You can subscribe to our YouTube page there and do all kinds of things, but you can also go straight to the experience.video to go straight to our YouTube page. And please subscribe today, because then you can go back and watch us again with Curtis and with other amazing people. And so I'm so thankful that you're all here. Just want to get that information out. Curtis, I want to bounce over real quickly back to the movies real quick, because people are already asking themselves, what movies were you in? Give us just a little rundown over the many years of some of the movies you were in and some of that experience.
Yeah, happy to do so. There's quite a few, Russ, I have to say. Over 200 TV shows and movies over the years. Most memorable, I guess, for me, growing up in England, one of my ambitions was to star in a James Bond movie. So the very first big film that I did was a James Bond film, Tomorrow Never Dies. And I thought I might end up as guard number 17 in the background, getting blown up or shot by Bond. But actually, the first scene I had was firing a rocket launcher, an RPG at James Bond during a car chase. I step out, fire the rocket through the windscreen. He's controlling it from the back seat. It was Pierce Brosnan back then. And he tries to run me over, and I dive out of the way. My missile goes straight through the front windscreen, and it kills the bad guys behind, big fireball. And I was like a child. I was 26 at the time, smiling every time they said, and cut. I'd have a big grin, as the flames were put out on the set. That's like living the dream. And this is what I mean. You can go to work and follow your heart at that point when that was in alignment. I was just living the dream, earning good money, doing something I loved every day, you know. So that was the first one, a Bond movie, and I had a scene with him later on the South China Seas where I come out onto a ship at night. He's planting mines, and I step out of a doorway, and he stabs me in the chest, and he dresses me up in his backpack, and he holds me out, and he fires his machine gun at the bad guy, who turns around, sees me, and he riddles me with bullets. And you see me get riddled with bullets, fall into the South China Seas off this ship. And the bad guy Stamper looks on the radio and he says, yeah, we've got him, we've killed Bond. And you see me drifting under the water, but it was me, you know. So that was great fun. And I was asked to double Pierce Brosnan later in that movie as well. So that was a dream come true. So Bond, and then I went on to start to do films abroad, start to travel a little bit. I did a film called The Count of Monte Cristo for an actor called James Caviezel. I was his double. So you may know Jim from Passion of the Christ, films like that.
You did The Passion of the Christ?
Yeah, he did that movie. He played Christ in that. So yeah, I was with James Caviezel in. We went to Ireland and I did all the horse riding and the swashbuckling for that. Then we flew to Malta, and it was the Count of Monte Cristo where he escapes from Chateau d'If, his imprisonment, hidden in a sack as if they think they're throwing a body over a cliff, but he's took Richard Harris out of the sack and snuck in himself. So there's a scene where he gets thrown off a cliff, and I had to be thrown off a lower part of the cliff, hit the water. The underwater cameras followed this sack with me inside it for real. We tried all sorts of ways of doing it, and the only way to do it was for real, with a sharp knife inside, divers all around behind camera. We had to wait until that bag drifted to the seabed. And then I would cut my way out of that and escape, basically, and swim to the surface with a sticky-on beard and a big wig and raggedy clothes, doubling for the Count himself, you know. So that was the Count of Monte Cristo, early days of starting to travel the world as part of my job too. And that's gone on right up until more recent years. I did some of the Marvel films like Captain America. I got killed by Captain America like a dozen times in all sorts of weird and wonderful ways. That was great fun to work on. Done Thor and shows like that as well. So really good, varied film career. And also in the background, done TV shows like Game of Thrones. We won a Screen Actors Guild Award for that, but did a few seasons of Game of Thrones, TV shows like that. So it was fun. I was going to say why it lasted. There was an element of fun in there for many years. It was just at the very end of that, I'd changed so much that it no longer resonated with me. And there was a time I was doing it for the money, whereas the early days, I absolutely loved it.
Sure. Well, question that everybody wants to know, when the James Bond movie, when you fell into the sea after being shot, did you really fall into the sea, or was that like a pool somewhere?
It was a pool somewhere. That was filmed at Pinewood Studios. There's a famous water tank called the Paddock Tank there. And they built the whole of it's an amazing set. Because it was meant to look like a boat kind of on stilts going through the waves at night. So they had all these outboard motors on the set, and there's a little bit in the middle that's kind of 12 foot deep that you can fall into. But it was in the dark. It's quite scary, actually, because on one of the takes, I came up underneath a rib boat, rigid inflatable boat. It was all, and the backpack was caught on the scaffolding. I couldn't see a thing. But yeah, they're agitating the water in such a way that on camera, it looks like it's moving through the ocean. But actually it was static, and it was all just immobilized on the Paddock Tank at Pinewood Studios in London. But the Count of Monte Cristo I mentioned, that was the real sea, and that was falling 30 feet to the seabed at the bottom, where all the camera crew were waiting for me to fall in a straight line and land and perform in front of the cameras.
Wow, that's amazing. That's really, So, and you said that you were in the Stuntman Hollywood Hall of Fame. That's amazing.
Yeah, that was a surprise. I think the icing on the cake, I'd just broken a Guinness World Record, my second one, and it got a bit of publicity. And I think I popped up on the radar. Then people started looking into my body of work. And yeah, I had a few calls, and without really having to apply or mention anything, I suddenly got this certificate of the post and, happily included into the Hollywood Stuntman's Hall of Fame. So that was a great honor.
That's awesome. Awesome. So what are some of the worst things that you encountered while doing that job that were the toughest things while being a stuntman?
The toughest thing, it's probably not the most obvious. A lot of it's really uncomfortable. Oftentimes you're freezing cold in the middle of the night in water. or even doing something like a fire burn, very scary. But before you do a fire burn, you're actually covered in ice cold gel. So you're shivering. It's been in a freezer overnight, freezing cold, starting to get ice crystals on it. You've got flame-proof underwear on, and which have also been soaking overnight. So it's like bone-chillingly icy as you put this on you, involuntary shivering. You almost can't wait them to be set on fire, just to warm through for, do a 30-second burn. But so things like that, really, really uncomfortable. But I'd say the first thing that came to mind when you asked that, when you do a stunt, you do rehearsals in, say you're doing an explosion, you've got a wire on your back, and the special effects team just pull you a beat before the explosion, and the fireball catches you up, and you land. For rehearsals on a crash mat, you rehearse. And then comes that time, okay, we've done everything we can. Are we all ready? Everyone ready? Everyone checks the different departments. Okay, stand by. And out goes the crash mat, to be replaced by concrete. It'll throw a little bit of talc down so you get a cloud of dust. But you literally, it's not fake. You've got padding on under your costume. And sometimes then it's really thin because you can see it under your costume. But so you do the stunt and the adrenaline's there and you get whipped off your feet and you land. It knocks the wind out of you. And everyone cheers. Sorry, can you go again, Curtis? We've got this problem, with the lighting. Let's make an adjustment. And you think, oh, okay. And you're starting to ache now, and your brain's catching up. That quite hurt your lower back. That's going to bruise tomorrow. But you got to go again, and it's been useful in life actually as a byproduct. It's given me great tenacity in business and in life in general to keep going when the going gets tough, Right. But that is one of the hardest aspects. Going back to number one is the start position for a second take or a third take, sometimes a fourth take, knowing it hurts. The first one's a lot easier when you're in practicing into that crash mat, or we have a thing called a box rig, all these cardboard boxes pushed together to land in as a cushion. But once that's out of the way and you land hard, and you've got to keep doing that. So yeah, I've had that a few times in my life, some horrific where it's really hurts and there's not a lot else they can do but suck it up, grin and bear it, think of the money and go again. And that's a very, very tough thing to contend with.
Yeah, I'll bet. Oh my goodness. Wow. So things started to change and it wasn't the environment you wanted to be in. That's something that really probably resonates with a lot of your clients too. And as we're talking, I want to remind all you guys, reach out to Curtis, because if you're going through a change or things are really changing what you've done for all these years and it's time for you to make a move, he's the perfect guy to talk to. All of his information is here today. We're going to talk about that again. But Curtis, when you're talking to your friends and your clients, they're probably really resonating a lot with, yes, I've been in this job forever, but things are really changing. My wife's a teacher. She tells me that every day. Things are really changing. I'm not sure how much longer I can do it, right? Because the environment and everything is changing, but they don't know how to make that move. What's the first step?
Well, just that. The first step is the recognition that, things are changing. It rarely changes suddenly completely overnight. It's usually like a stepped process. This in teaching, that rule changes, this rule is softened. This is a new, thing that the teacher must implement, and that they may not agree. They may be more old school. And so the job changes in that instance more than they do, because they've got a set way of doing it. Back in my day when we started, we wouldn't put up for that. I actually worked in a school for 5 years when I was training to be a stuntman. And even back then, all those years ago, that was often said, where you couldn't, back then, children were being cheeky, back chatting. And the teachers were saying, gosh, they wouldn't have got away with that 5 years ago. That had been dragged up, literally their feet wouldn't have touched the ground. They've been scuffed up and dragged to the headmaster's office, or, punished in some way. And then already, even like 40 years ago, they were starting to get much softer, and you can't do that. And the children were catching on. And so in teaching, as your example, yet the whole job can change around the person. That's one way it can happen, and it's gradual until such a point of like, this so isn't me. I can't be myself anymore. I can't operate into these, guidelines and be the biggest, brightest version of myself that I'm destined to be, with all of these constraints that have been put on. It's like somebody putting the armor on you. And so that represents many of my clients where the business has changed around them. I help people in the film industry still, actually, not just stunts, different departments. And the film industry's changed beyond all recognition. in a similar way with the rules and the regulations and well, to be completely frank, a dark undertone to the film industry that was part of the reason that I didn't want to stay in it anymore. There's, you know, that whole casting couch thing, the Me Too movement, you know, some of the things using the film industry to purvey a certain narrative in the world that didn't land well with me. So yeah, jobs change around you, but also at the same time, Russ, don't forget, if we're living correctly and to the best of our abilities, we're changing. I hope very much I'm a different person in 10 years from now than I am now, even though I'm in a very happy place, because, you know, we're always evolving and aspiring to be the biggest, best version of ourselves. And so a lot of my clients have done that. They're just like me. When I got into my 30s and approaching 40, I was nothing like the naive teenager who dreamt of becoming a stuntman. Obviously, you know, 2 decades had passed and I was much more open, honest. I'd tuned into my heart more. I dropped that mask, you know, the toxic masculine that I didn't even know I was wearing. Where I was brought up, that was very much, you know, you're a man's man, you don't show your feelings. And it was very rough and tough and, you know, hit first before somebody hits you. It's like a million miles away from where I am now. But by the time I'm approaching, like I say, late 30s, getting on for 40, I'm a spiritual man. I would be in that toxic environment, drive home and then light candles or incense and sit and meditate, read a good book, personal development, be kind to people, be a kind, loving individual, because you can still be a real man and strong and, you know, like a spiritual warrior and protect your family and be there while still being a kind, caring and loving man as well. So right. I just drifted completely away. Both the industry was changing, but more so in my case, I changed. And so I was just too far away from where I should have been at that time.
Yeah, well, I think that, like you said, recognition is the first step, and then figuring out who to talk to, like Curtis Rivers. Curtis, tell us how people get in touch with you and how they reach out for your coaching.
You can find me just at my name, curtisrivers.com. And I've got a little tool giveaway actually for your listeners. If you go to alignmentcompass.com, there's like a little tool to deep dive and just explore these things. If you're even just early in that journey of, I wonder if I'm there yet. Yeah, some of this is resonating. I'm not sure which departments. Is it my career that's adrift? Is it my private life, my relationships, my relationship with money? It's a little deep dive, very, very quick and practical tool to take a 40,000 foot overview of that. And that's available at alignmentcompass.com.
That's so cool. So we've got that in the information underneath you there. It's all blinking at everybody. It's clickable. Also, we're going to put in there alignmentcompass.com. And on that page is that you click on what again for the gift?
It's just put your email in, press a button. It'll be sent to you straight away. And
you're good.
You begin immediately.
Perfect. Put your email in, everybody. We'll get that in the comments here as well, and it'll be sent to you straight away. I love that, straight away. So anyway, Curtis, thank you so much. You're such a blessing. Everything that you're about, I really resonate with, and I appreciate you. Everybody watching, and whether you're watching live or on replay, please share this out today and let your friends know. Curtis and I are going to be doing that again after we get off the show, making sure people get this great information. And don't forget what I told you before. If you want more information on the experience, go to the experience, local.theexperience.video for all the information about Scott and I and all the shows, including the Waco experience for Scott. You can also go to the experience.video for our YouTube page. Curtis, I'm going to say goodbye to you here on screen, but hang tight for just a minute as I wrap it up. Thank you for being such a blessing to me and this community.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Russ. Really appreciate you.
All right. Well, it won't be the last time. You're so fun to talk to. Hang tight. Okay. All right, everybody. Yes, I'm teeny. There we go. Give me back. There we go. Woohoo. All right. Well, one of the fun things about producing the show and being on the show at the same time is you got to remember to hit the right buttons. There you go. It is live. And if you're watching this on replay today, please put hashtag Team Replay. Please comment. Please connect with Curtis. And please connect with each other in the comments. I appreciate that. Send this out. Let people know that it is on. I am just so thankful for this community and every day. So thank you for sharing this. Thank you for tagging your friends. It is such a blessed community. Hashtag 1000 thanks. You know, we started that about 3 or 4 Thanksgivings ago, just reminding us to tell people how thankful we are and reminding them ourselves how thankful we are for them and how thankful they know that we're thankful for them. So that made no sense. But anyway, it's just all about being grateful and thankful. There you go. So I'm so thankful that you're here today and watching, whether it's live or on replay. Please say hi in the comments. And don't forget, you can connect with me at russedge.com. All of my LinkedIn information and Curtis's and Scott's is ticking on the bottom. Scott will be here next week again. He is busy celebrating the Waco experience. And so, yes, we are so thankful that you're here today. Also, don't forget, we are not only supported by sponsors, but also listener supported. The links are in the comments there. Appreciate everybody. In fact, here is the QR code and information if you want to go there as well. And just want to say a big shout out again to our sponsors that are so amazing. Today, I'm going to get the ticker off here so we can see it. The Gillette Home Team, Family Building Blocks, Dual Water Systems, and the Aspects of Aging. Thank you to our sponsors. Because of all of you, this is possible, and I'm so thankful for all of that. So let me get that off the screen. There we go, and I'm back. So have a blessed and amazing rest of the week. Don't forget to join us next week. First of all, 6:30 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time on the Experience Backstage on Instagram only. And then come over here, LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook to watch us on the Experience Live with amazing guests like Curtis. And don't forget, coming out November 3rd, Life Happens and Then You Choose. Looking forward to that. It's going to be a great day. My new book. Thank you again for all your support with that. Till then, have a blessed and amazing week. We'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in to The Experience Live with Russ and Scott. If you enjoyed today's show, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or subscribe on YouTube. See you next time.